Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2, where we are poised to make real progress. I thought we were going to make a little more progress last episode, but now we have 4 systems, right? 4 home systems. We have ships on the way to what we think is probably Craver Central. We have, in theory... Actually, this ship needs to get turned around, right? We were going to head over to Yellow territory, but I'm not actually sure that that's what we want to do anymore. Because now that Yellow's in our alliance, I suppose the Argosy could still scout this stuff out. But maybe, now that I'm allied with Yellow, I'm not sure if am I allowed to retrofit in their territory? I might be. Because we didn't actually retrofit the Argosy, right? We changed the design, but then did not apply the design to the ship. Also, okay, so we picked up, it looks like, 2 extra ship slots from our upgrade tech, but no teleportation module. Okay, create portal on node, allowing you to teleport your other fleets here via the portal network. Okay, so it's not a module that we apply, it's just a capability that the Argosy gains. Alright, fair enough. Well, we should probably go ahead and throw some more Ram scoops in there. We could throw in some, like, defensive modules or something, I guess, in case the Argosy is not necessarily going to be in a safe place. You know what? We'll figure it out. We'll be fine. Remember, the Argosy cannot be destroyed, only damaged. So if something bad happens to it, it'll regenerate on one of our systems, and we'll just get to try again. So... yeah, what do we want to do with that thing? I don't know. Yeah, just get to bring it and stop. We'll figure it out. We have this behemoth on the way over here. It's going to get retrofitted once it hits Hadar. Although, now that we're allied with Yellow, maybe we want to keep the good engines in it until, like, Viacherus and then refit it. Because we could run it from Hadar to Viacherus through free space without taking too much time, I think. But I guess we only really need one ship headed in this direction. Yeah, okay. So we'll still have the Argosy come across to the Yellow Arm and hunt for the home system of the Hisho player. And then, once we've found it, it needs to try to get over here somewhere. So, okay, we're at 4 of 10. We think we know 5. This is number 6. Number 7 is down here. Number 8 is somewhere in there. Number 9 is right there. And number 10 is somewhere up here. Okay, so we know the approximate location of all of them. Now remember, we still have space in our alliance for another player, I believe. Maybe even more than one other player. I can't remember. On 10 players, are you allowed to have 4-player alliances or 5? There's a cap, but I just don't remember what it is. So we could resolve some of this just by inviting people in from the cold. In particular, I wonder if this dude might be down. Just thinking that it would be really cool if we didn't have to figure out how to take over his home system. Honestly, that looks surmountable to me, but we're going to have more influence in order to do it, so that's in a few turns kind of concern. Alright, yeah, I think we are well positioned. Or rather, we are well positioned for getting well positioned. We're on our way. So you can't move or you'll just be forced out of blue space. You are, for the moment, just playing defense. Do we want to take... like, Atlas is a great system. I don't know that I care about taking back Baten, honestly. Atlas has 28 population already, though. That would be valuable. We just have to be a little bit careful about our our overcolonization threshold and the approval penalty from overcolonization. It might be a good idea for us to take no more systems than we absolutely have to. I suppose part of my concern there is that we might not be able to get a peace agreement, or at least a truce from the Cravers, if we don't do more damage. For right now, let's focus on taking the capital and playing defense, and we'll see how things go from there. Oh, and hacking operations are left unassigned. How could I? How dare I? Well, am I allowed to send a hacking operation to a node that I am not able to see? if I know roughly its location? The answer to that question appears to be yes. 17 turns. You know what? I don't think that is still going to be there in 17 turns. At least I hope not. So I kind of think continuing to hack in this direction, because this is the area that we're probably going to deal with last, makes the most sense. But, like, what hacks are even valuable? If we know we're going to come over here and we're going to conquer the place, we could run hacks to Sable, and I guess we just, like, steal population over here in systems that I don't intend to attack. Yeah, I guess that seems reasonable. I don't know if this is enough nodes for safety, but I already clicked. We could cancel the hack and run it again, like from Sing, to give us a little bit of extra trace safety. One more proxy between us and the destination, but we're probably fine. We're possibly fine. I'm going to leave it. All right, are we building the headquarters for the new trading company? We totally are. And then Hadar will be where we build the other end of it. Okay. Yeah, we have some direction. Now it's, in many ways, a project of waiting until our ships have actually crossed the interstellar distances. While trying to make sure that our economy and influence generation are on point enough. I'm very annoyed that you made me stop here, and so I will attack you. Hey, big surprise. This guy is totally screwed. So what I really want is power to shields. Being attacked somewhere else, which I don't care a huge amount about. Okay. I mean, this doesn't matter. I don't know why I'm spending so much effort on it. He's just going to retreat. Then we blow up the... Oh, hey, that is a pretty good bonus from that logistics fleet.
The choir is watching.
I am not at your borders. I don't even know what you consider your borders to be. Where we're being attacked is it? It is a military behemoth being attacked, by some pirate ships because they don't know any better. Well, let's go ahead and knock this out. Stupid pirates. I really don't care about the pirates. At this point, they're not even a meaningful threat to us. I guess, in most cases, I would try to wipe them out. But in this one, since they are so not a threat to us, and I'm going to buy some Red Sang here. Since they are so much not a threat to us, I'm inclined to just leave them in place because they harass the AI as well. Wow, somebody has really been selling Red Sang. Okay, that was not cheap, but I do want to keep those population units boosted. We definitely cannot afford to run another law. Lower fleet costs make sense right now because we're building a bunch of large ships, right? Yeah. Yep, leave it as it is. We're going to be negative on dust forever, it feels like, but also, it doesn't feel like it's making much of a difference. Seems like things are running just fine. Alright, so you guys are playing defense for the moment until I decide what I really want to do with you. What do I really want to do with you? That's a question. I think we just wait patiently at the portal. Okay, I cannot afford this redesign. Well, let's fix that. That's a pretty expensive design, I'll say that. We need this theoretically for system developments, but we produce it so quickly. Then again, this is almost no money. Sell off all the transvine, all of this stuff, all the potatoes. The one of those that we have. And then probably a few of these. Just, just a couple. Really, 1.1k, man. The progressive cheapening of our resources is killing me. Alright, yeah, we're allowed to retrofit in friendly territory. Bam, Arcosi 3. So now we can make it a portal. Yeah, like I said, I think we gotta go and find Hisho territory. We're much, much faster now. They stopped us here. We are officially at war with them, right? Are they not going to attack my scout? Weird. I mean, I know these are not military behemoths, but they still have guns on them. Well, I mean, let's not complain, right? Alright, we're all good on construction. How many turns are we looking at on this thing? 3? Ugh. And that's only at optimal movement speed. If they have another blockading fleet down here, it might even take us longer. Is it really faster to do this than it is to just... Oh, citadels prevent free movement. I did not realize that. I don't think I've ever seen that be an issue before. Get a remnant population bonus. Yeah, okay, alright. I was going to say, that sucks if we have just enough movement to wait patiently outside the system. A single scout is able to stop my entire fleet. I'm pretty sure we were about out of movement anyway. I don't think this actually mattered. But it is a little silly. Alright. We don't know for sure that that's their home system, but come on, it's gotta be, right? So did we hit, was it 10 remnant that we hit? Yes, it was. Okay. So, even more industrialist political will for our empire. Unfortunately, the huge amount of scientist and, at this point, maybe ecologist will that we have is going to override that. Or the militarists might stay in charge because we are doing a lot of military stuff. Alright, they have brought a fleet. They want to do battle. They have a bunch of little slicers with their missile weapons. Alright, well... Let's, how do we want to do this? Oh, we don't want the party van actually involved in combat. Because we're in guard mode when they entered the fleet, or when they entered the system, they lost all their movement. So they are going to have to just sit here while I carefully rearrange my fleet and then blow them up with it. I'm thinking we want to move the Juggernaut into the Relentless Kith army. Or maybe I just attack with the Juggernaut army, or the Juggernaut navy, because it is really very powerful. I just don't want the party van in there so that it doesn't get torn apart. Although it does have some actual weapons. It has no defenses. You know what? We're just hanging here. Like, as long as the party van doesn't get destroyed, we'll be able to repair it, because we're at a friendly system. And it does have 40,000 health. Okay, yeah. Let's keep that. So, what I would actually like is to pop that hero over here. He's locked. Okay. So we're going to have to refigure this a little bit. Actually, the best thing would be if we got these ships into the hero fleet instead of vice versa, because apparently we are not going to be able to do it that way. If we pull all of the smalls out, that still doesn't quite do it. We need to drop one more ship of some other kind. Okay, purely offensive fleet. A little slow moving. Or no, actually we're at 8 here. Oh, these mediums are faster. Yeah, the minor faction mediums that we took over have enough movement that they're not bottlenecking us on speed. Well, that's nice. Okay, this is the fleet we want to fight with then. My suspicion is they will simply retreat. We have Sierra long range. Why are these ships grouped together? What is the AI thinking? This ship is short range. What we want is probably actually shield wall. With the long range ship and the short range ship not in the same flotilla, I would think. Yeah, our flagship is functional anywhere. Okay, I like this. They'll probably just run here. But just in case they don't, Be cool to see our Juggernaut in action. Oh, they actually want to do it. Alright, so they called Take Trophies. Ooh. That's a pretty cool... that's a pretty cool battle tactic that I'm not sure I've ever seen before. I have to say that I suspect this is not going to work out the way they would like. Just skip ahead a little bit here. Look at the size of that thing. We should see a lot of damage very quickly out of the Juggernaut. At this level of zoom, oof, a small ship that is designed to draw enemy attention and take fire sure did draw enemy attention and take fire. Yes, they managed to put a bunch of small ships up against the Juggernaut, which is a little bit of a shame in the sense that it will take the Juggernaut a while to start targeting the actually dangerous enemies. Also, I don't love the way that it's splitting fire and damaging all of the enemy ships at once rather than taking them down one by one, but it is getting the job done, I suppose. Where are the bombers at? Because I saw the bombers launch, but I do not see them... Oh, here they are. They are, for some reason, attacking the smallest enemy ship that is available. That's not how they're supposed to do that. Bombers should prefer larger targets. Not sure why they're fighting the way they are. Well, it goes without saying, our Juggernaut should manhandle these guys pretty badly. And now that the bombers are on a more appropriate target for their damage type. Yeah, look at that. I don't understand that at all. Why would the bombers go for the small ship? Well, one of the values of these squadron modules is that they can attack stuff that your ship is not attacking. So, like, if you have a dangerous enemy cross flotilla, the bombers didn't get tied up fighting those little ships at the beginning. We lost a taxi, a Nar, and the medium ship here. None of these are particularly valuable. The taxi, at least, like, was useful. That's alright, we can build more. And 480 science is not a bad yield. Our buddy here is leveling up. Boy, this level of this level of skills does not really have a lot of good fleet stuff in it, huh? Well, I guess we're taking bonus XP and vision because we actually don't have any other skills that do anything. At the next rank, things get a lot better. But unfortunately, that is like 3 levels away. Our probes have not revealed anything terribly interesting just yet. You need to run up this way. Oh, you are fast. Look at this thing go. I mean, the animation speed is not fast, but I kind of feel like the animation should scale in speed with the distance you're traveling. So like it always takes the same number of seconds to complete a move no matter how long it is. This does not really give the impression of the amount of speed that we're going for here. I even still had move left. Alright, we're going to find Green's capital very soon. You are a reasonably powerful vessel who probably will not get immediately destroyed upon reaching Micra. Yeah, I think we're going to go to Viasharis. We'll do our retrofit here, and then travel along star lanes where it won't hurt so much to not have the good engines anymore. Over here on Corvus, and this is a system that just needs growth. Actually, yeah, this is also very good here. Still having people starving due to our extreme lack of approval in some quarters. Let's search out these encounter remains, see what kind of cool stuff is in there. And then it turns out we have quite a few just like basic science buildings to build, and also this. You know what? Go ahead and prioritize this. Part of the reason I'm thinking that is the extra influence output. As it stands right now, Guyana has no influence bubble, and that's true of all of the systems that we just took over. But as our ownership of them completes, they will start to generate influence. And it's difficult to assert an influence bubble while you're inside of another player's influence. It takes a lot more points of influence to actually get your bubble to start growing, so I think it's worthwhile to do that. Alright, we know all this stuff. Really hoping that it's going to turn out that this is in fact the Craver capital. We discovered 20 Hyperium in that encounter remains. That's a shame. So Cygnus is not, in fact, their capital. It has a citadel, but it is not their capital. Adar has been compromised. I mean, we just don't... We need more bandwidth, like I said. We just don't have the bandwidth to run defensive programs. Fortunately, it doesn't seem to be painful, really, to just run all of the sleeper reintegration programs all the time. It's especially not hurting us because our approval is already zeroed out. Okay, Eridanus is not that far from our stuff at all. Let's just hang out over there and see if he'll do anything about it. We're very good explorers. Ah, blue is using green to run us off. I don't know if we can retreat here. Do we have a neutral place to safely retreat to? Apparently I'm allowed to move around inside blue's borders if it's a retreat. Alright, so our truce has ended. We are back to the normal state of Cold War with these guys. That doesn't really affect anything. Talitha 3, I suppose, should have science stuff. Do we want to throw modernization here? We only have 8 population and we're growing pretty slowly. No, probably not. But I probably do want to get epigenetic crop seeding going. Maybe even before the science? Yeah, probably before the science. It's food. The earlier we get it, the better. Okay, this fleet is running a little bit heavier on the attackers. A lot of missile weapons. Okay. So we lost some ships there. May as well bring some people over. Who's on bullets here? Is anybody on bullet weapons? Because anybody who's on bullet weapons could be useful. You are, at least partially. You are, at least partially. And then we'll just grab 3 other guys. Merge them in, and have at thee. Same deal as before, I think. Yeah, we don't need to watch this one. So we've got some missile defense. Hopefully we will lose fewer ships. No, not really. We're burning out the Craver military pretty quickly, though, here. And also getting our hero through these doldrum levels pretty quickly, both of which are valuable. So now, what do we think? I'm going to try this way, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. There's no way to know where their capital is, unfortunately. But if we just keep wearing them down militarily and then we take their capital, probably they will want to give up at some point. And then, the question of what to research next arises. Where are we at on Behemoth Technologies? Okay, so I would need 3 more Behemoth Techs in order to be able to build another one. Probably not worth pursuing at the... Well, Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Thinking like we could grab weaponization. 14,000 bonus health on unspecialized behemoths does sound like a good idea. And then we got to pick up something from this tier as well to unlock the bonus up here. Don't think we're going to make an Obliterator. Obliterator behemoths are not good at fighting. They're just good at blowing up planets. I suppose revealing invisibility is important, but there's very little value in going after this when we're just opening up this tier so that we can go after the level 3 invisibility reduction. So this does only work on detection probes. Okay, but there's a support module that does the same thing. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with this. Sacrifice manpower to get more power for this battle. I don't know. I'm just going to take this because we got to get something, I think. And we have lots and lots of adamantium with which to build defenses. Okay, we have to be outside a hostile sphere of influence. That is a problem, but maybe not a huge one. We just head back to N29, make a portal there, suddenly deploy across their empire. And where is that? Okay, that behemoth is still 3 turns out. I missed one. Alright. So a lot of our internal empire stuff is no longer super important. We're just waiting in a lot of cases for ships to figure out where they're going. Trade routes are being blockaded, which I do not care about. The blockades will end, naturally, when we kill all the other players. I suppose just a flat approval bonus is totally reasonable. Status has been compromised. I mean, big surprise, run the thing. They should probably... I don't know, I think they might need to rebalance that a little bit, because that penalty right now is so small that I have no problem just saying, okay, we'll run the re-education thing. They probably need to make that matter a little bit. The fact that it seems to very rarely pull you down a tier is a big problem. Alright, we're hitting the same problem with her. Just that there's not a lot of good stuff in this middle tier. And we did discover the homeworld. Okay. What do we have here? An economic behemoth. We can certainly run that off. And then we just park here, right? So this thing wants to be at medium range. It does have 10,000 offense with 70,000 health. So I expect it will fight us. Long range, and then long range. We want as much long range as possible here. Shield absorption on ships is also, I think, pretty reasonable. It's going to be in the middle flotilla because that's the only flotilla it can be in. So I'm wondering if we want to move everybody out of the middle flotilla. Just have the one large going up against it. Or maybe even both of them? It's going to try to move to a range. We have to assume that it's going to want to move to a range that's not good for us. So actually, I'm going to put these in 2 different flotillas just so that this one is, in theory, immune to being pulled into like short range. Then I'm curious exactly how this is going to work out. Okay, no, he just runs. That's fair. So with all of our siege modules, we will completely obliterate the defenses of this system in less than 10 turns. Fewer than, I should say, 10 turns. How much manpower do we have? 2.2k. We don't need to wait until they're completely out of manpower, but we do need to wait a little bit. Especially since we don't have any bonus deployment stuff in this fleet. So we'll only be able to put down 600, 900 right now. We have been gaining manpower deployment limit with each of these that we unlock. No, maybe not. Is it just the command point text? Yeah, the command point text give manpower deployment limit. I was under the impression that leveling up the tree as a whole did so as well, but I guess it just increases your Empire's total manpower capacity. Well, we're definitely going to keep picking this stuff up. Manpower deployment limit is one of the most important things you can increase. The Umbral Choir and the Unfallen are now in an alliance.
Thrive.
Could we just bring them into our alliance? Because I would do that. I would absolutely do that. No. In fact, them being an alliance prevents me from trying to get them into my alliance. That's interesting. The only people we could actually take on now are people who we don't need to because we already have plans for. That's a little awkward.
Trees of the forests and the heart are ancient. Do not
There's no way for me to try to get us to merge alliances, huh? Well, alright, so much for that as a way of reducing the number of capitals we have to conquer. Let us set you into portal mode. And I'm hoping that we will have some bodies free pretty soon here. I guess we already do. Merge you guys up and send you through the portal so as to keep it secured. Alright, I think people will have a hard time running the Argosy off now. And then we just need to make some siege ships or a party van or something. We have 12 command points worth of combat ships here, so like 5 siege ships and 3 taxis would just about do it. Are these ships full on manpower? Yes, they are. Okay, let's do that thing. Let's do that thing I just said. This is 4,100 manpower, so we wouldn't have the manpower to create a full one of these right now. Okay, 4 turns on that. And notice we're not shedding quite so much dust anymore. Man, they really do have a lot of ships. Okay, we're probably going to have to... We're probably going to have some ships, or some systems creating ships to send to Guyana. I guess Guyana is going to be able to work on ships itself in a second here. Although it does have lots of other things I'd like to be building instead. Well, the capital's finished. The capital could run out some more stuff. Silo doesn't even have a portal. Yeah, let's fix that. Put a portal there, and then we can build ships there as well. All of our significant shipyard systems need to have portals so that we can move stuff around. The portals really are incredibly powerful. It's one of the best unique sort of gimmicks of any faction, in my opinion. But we should definitely have an F-Reality Institute here. Man, we build things slowly on Staterus. By the way, notice Electra has been taken over by our influence bubbles. This means a couple of things. Number one, Electra is itself producing less influence pressure now that it's completely... the system star is within our influence. I believe the system star is the marker for when you are actually... when you have overwhelmed the enemy's control of the system. If we had... where is it? This technology, supralight content systems, we could absorb that system into our empire over time. Every turn that your system sits within the influence bubble of a player who has SLC content, I guess the C in SLC is content, there's a little meter that's ticking up. When the meter hits 100%, they can just grab your system for free. And at any point during that process, they can pay an amount of influence based on the amount of meter that is not yet full to grab your system early. So be very careful about letting your systems sit in the influence bubble of other players, particularly other players who seem to have their influence generation really set up, because they are probably going to go for that at some point. In our case, we don't care. We don't actually want their systems. We just want their capital. So, I think we want to attack here. We may as well grab this guy out. We should go at this with full command points. So you can see our ships are healing up pretty quickly, the ones that survive battle. The Juggernaut's already back at full. Yeah, it's repairing 25% per turn. It would be very difficult for them to actually wear through us at this point, but they sure do have a lot of ships with which to try. Okay, so they've cut to bullet weapons now. Perhaps feeling that their missile weapons were becoming a little bit of a liability, which is an analysis that I agree with. So, like, do we want to go power to shields here? A lot of our short-range ships did die, didn't they? Well, we still have the carves, so we want some short and some long. Might just keep shield walling. We're going to make sure that our ships are in reasonable positions here. So, like, the carve really wants to be in the short-range fleet, or flotilla, rather. Their bullet weapons are going to make it tough for us to actually land missile hits, which is a shame. Their bullet weapons are also going to mean that they can try to shoot down our bombers in the air. I don't know exactly how effective that's going to be. Yeah, alright, I think this is reasonable. It takes a lot of damage to bring down bombers. I don't think they have enough bullet ships for it to be a reasonable concern. Also, I believe only ships that are in the flotilla that's actually being attacked by the bombers get to hit them. Or it might even be only the ship that's getting hit by them gets to fire back. I'm not 100% certain. The combat mechanics in this game are very complex. I do not have the best grasp of them. I know enough to have a pretty basic idea of what's going on most of the time. They put 2 of their mediums up against the Juggernaut, which is going to be good for us, because that means we're going to dust those guys pretty quickly. Over here, these ships are, right now, suffering as much damage as they ever really will. We're at maximum missile range here, but they're shooting down a lot of the missiles as they approach, so we're not getting anything through. Basically, this middle flotilla is going to be a bloodbath in their favor, until the Juggernaut finishes fighting what it's fighting, and when those guys are down, then some of these big Juggernaut guns get turned on this flotilla. Looks like the bombers are crossing to the other side to fight the Butcher. That makes sense. The Butcher is going to kill everything that was across from it, but it's probably going to have a hard time getting rid of those bombers. Yeah, and here comes some of the Juggernaut weapons. Firing arcs are not ideal here, so I don't think we're getting all of the shots, but it was enough to clear this out completely. Unfortunately, the enemy bombers are not destroyed by the ship that fired them being destroyed. We need to actually end the battle. We're going to lose a lot of ships here. Yeah, but now this guy is only taking fire from the bombers and things that are shooting at him from a considerable distance. Good news is, we have a lot of ships that do good damage at a considerable distance. Bad news is, all of this time is time for their bombers to continue working. But I think we've got him. Yeah, we've got him. But we lost probably 2 extra ships there due to bomber damage in the interim. A decisive victory, but not decisive, but not inexpensive. Yeah, we lost a lot of small ships. That said, you know, he can't have infinite stuff. He is going to run out of ships eventually. We just have to hope that we take his capital and get out of this war by then. But it's going to be 3 turns or 2 more turns from now before the large ship that the capital is producing is actually finished. And if you're wondering why I'm not dropping population or dropping manpower on Tikal right now, ooh, hey, there's a thing here we can search. it's because of the way conscription works. Well, that was not very good. We just found a crummy resource. Because of the fact that attacking them would give them the option of using conscription. If we go at them while they still have enough manpower to survive a round of combat, they're going to end up with a bunch of extra manpower due to the conscription and due to the fact that we don't have the modules necessary to commit a wildly overpowering amount of our own manpower. So that's going to have the effect of lengthening the siege and reducing the population of the system, making it less powerful when we take it over. I would prefer to let the siege wear their defenses down to the point where, even with a conscription, they're going to lose the battle in a single round, thus preserving the system as much as possible and giving us the minimum amount of time spent in the siege state. This also reduces the amount of manpower we are losing and increases our ability to just immediately teleport to the next target. We still don't have the ability to colonize barren worlds. That's a problem. Over here on Akima, we are theoretically going to be pretty good at building ships eventually, thanks to these hot planets, but it's still going to take a little while. Let's keep the food rolling. And I guess start producing the ships now? So let's upgrade our ship designs a little bit, actually. I think a lot of this stuff is out of date, right? These guys are firing... Oh, yeah. We are out of date. Let's pull the weapons here. So we know the Cravers are starting to adjust to our missile attacks. Our torpedoes and our bullet weapons are no longer doing tremendously different amounts of damage. And in general, I like bullet weapons a little bit better for the combined offense and defense aspect of them. Let's trade up the ships like this. I don't think we want to mess too much with anything else. I still like the kinetic enhancer. Plus 10% health and damage on squadrons. The thing is, weapons are still way better DPS, right? Like 92 base damage versus 42 damage out of these, but remember with the modifiers, even against large ships, their ideal target, they're still only doing 63% or 63 DPS, which is, it compares fairly unfavorably. Part of this is because we have very basic squadron modules. If we had better ones, this would be less true. Turret interference missile. Disables targeted subsystems for a limited time if the hit is successful. That's interesting. I think I'm just gonna do this in a very straightforward way. We're just gonna keep rolling damage. I do love damage. Basic inert plating is better, it looks like. Yeah, this is newer plating. So part of the way you can tell, you see here there's 2 plates of armor in this image, while here there's only 1 plate of armor. That's a fairly common mechanism for displaying how advanced something is. Like, for example, you can see we started the game with bullet weapons that were only shooting a single projectile. Then we leveled up to these ones that have 2 projectiles coming out, and now our really cool stuff has 3 barrels. And so the more of the thing you observe in the image, the higher level that component is. Okay, that's the real design. We're gonna have to retrofit the ship that's being built in the capital right now. Get started on this. It'll come to fruition eventually. So is that all of our builds? That is in fact not all of our builds. Down here on Bushir, a planet that will never be great, we just need to build a bunch of basic stuff. Okay. Or basically, I need to give them a bunch of orders and then stop worrying about them. So once we take Tikal, we'll build a portal here, and thus be able to immediately move our attack fleet somewhere if we need to, be able to move defenses in very easily. And once we have that, we don't actually even need Guyana. I don't know that we will leave, necessarily, but we won't have to stay. Also, this military behemoth over here is just kind of hanging out. Do I want to go over there and fight that? 28,000 offense. Like, I'm definitely more specialized in murder, but he has even more damage than I do. Let's have a quick look at our Juggernaut design. You know, now that we have the adamantium weapons tech, yeah, we definitely should switch to adamantium weapons. Just really gonna commit to these bullets. Are going to fix that. And now the ship at least has split damage types. We have some energy damage, so no matter how they tech against it, they won't be able to cover all of it. How much is that retrofit going to cost us? Wow, 80 adamantium. Those are some expensive modules. Also, quite a bit of dust. And this stuff does not sell very well. A lot of this stuff does not sell very well. We're still using dark glitter and potatoes, I guess. Is it 5,000 something? Yeah, 5049. Well, we can certainly sell some of this. Really, that whole stock is only going to be 700, man. Stupid price crash. Price crash is only affecting luxury goods. Unfortunately, luxury goods are the ones we can most afford to sell. Ugh, man. The prices for everything are all screwed up. We really need to get this fixed, though. We get to 5049 plus... Yeah, plus enough to not immediately go bankrupt afterward. We are still building pulvis production in some places. We are still working on a trading company, which will definitely help with money. But we're also still building lots of other stuff, and thus increasing all of our system upkeep. Okay, we're getting pretty close to having that done. I'm going to trace from Vorta to somewhere. Really wish you could click on this to jump to the thing, because I don't remember which of my 100 systems is Vorta. 100. It's like 10, but already it's too much for me to keep track of. Really, they got a hack all the way to Vorta. It's probably a hack coming from these guys, I bet. If it was coming from Blue, it probably would have been noticed earlier. Well, I mean, not really that much to be done about it. Wanted to make sure this thing was upgraded so that if they come over here with their behemoth, we are ready. Maybe I should go over there. Okay, hold on. I'll deal with you in a second. We're now showing 65,000 damage. 65,000 abstracted offensive potential. Only 4 movement. Okay, Porta got hacked. That's fine. I'll deal with that in a second. Okay, well, they moved anyway. Blockades that I am just going to ignore.
Do not question our ways.
Okay, they declared war on us, which I think is probably a bad play for them. We've lost our On the Shoulders of Supergiants bonus, which is a shame because we were using that. We discovered 60 dust. Man, these curiosities that are left behind by big battles and stuff are just, they're so irrelevant. They're such tiny quantities of things that by the time the game is advanced enough for you to be leaving them behind, the rewards you get from them are completely irrelevant. Yeah, unfortunately, we're probably going to have to wait a little while longer on this. Here we should probably attack, although I guess we could afford to wait. If we wait, we're going to have to deal with this stuff at the same time. He did not quite time his stuff correctly. Yeah, alright, let's just get in there and fight him. This is basically just going to be Juggernaut versus Behemoth. We need to run this as close as possible. I guess Hull plating penetration is pretty good for me. Yeah, he's got significant hull plating, but we know he's going to be in the middle flotilla, and my experience has been that ships firing cross flotilla are never treated as though they are close together. So I guess we'll do it like this. I'm going to move everything except the Juggernaut out of the middle. You actually want to be in the long range one. We do want to have at least one command point in each side so that we're getting our full morale bonus here. I think he'll stand and fight. He has stood and fought on things that we're going to have worse outcomes. Oof, plus 25% hull plating absorption is a shame. However, I do have an awful lot of bullets. Feel a little bad for... Oh, look at this. Immediate cross-flotilla fire. You coward. Stand and fight. Given the number of bullet weapons we're seeing here, I have to assume that his fighters would have a real hard time sticking on the behemoth. And he does not quite have so many bullet weapons. We'll see what our bombers are able to do. You can see their health is dropping pretty rapidly. Also, an awful lot of bullets are hitting him, though. I don't know that it's going to matter too much. That's a fairly large loss. Like, that ship had to be pretty expensive. Did he completely obliterate this other flotilla? I think he did. I don't know. He had some ships. In fact, the only thing he managed to kill was the hero ship, which, just like heroes in Endless Legend, is not actually destroyed unless the entire navy is destroyed. It survives with a single point of health otherwise. Alright, this is the last point of totally wasted... the last totally wasted skill point. That's maybe a better way to put that, right? Or is there one more? No, there's one more. Well... yeah, none of these skills do anything at all while he's commanding a fleet, so I guess we'll just pick one. We want to keep you guys boosted. We've run out of Hydromiel. Probably not worth boosting Mavros anyway. And we tried our best. We really have not been successful in keeping the population of our minor factions up. Things sort of just didn't work out right. Alright, so this ship is going to become a mobile teleporter. When it does so, it's going down to 5 movement. We did get access to some extra slots for it, which we should probably use. And we should also probably give it proper weapons. Ooh. The tractor beam is a pretty cool thing. Probably we're not using any here. So I think I'm just going to go... I mean, I know I'm just outfitting all of our ships identically at this point, but these weapons are really good. They're way better than the other stuff we have access to. And also here, this also we gained a heavy mount. This retrofit's going to be expensive. Yeah, I mean, ideally, this is what we're looking at. That is a 17,000 dust retrofit. We can afford the strategic costs. The other costs are less acceptable. Man, one of these things is worth 40. 103 of them is worth only 840. That's just terrible. Yeah, the price of everything except Hyperion is completely blown up. Well... maybe we need to enact... we can enact a taxation law. It would be minus 20 approval on every system, which would take us down from content to unhappy empire-wide, which would impose a dust penalty large enough to almost completely offset, or maybe even more than completely offset, the dust gained. Maybe what we actually need is to run this, as much as it hurts to lose the approval, or the industry. A lot of our systems are not making anything of terrible value to us, and this would get it won't change our empire-wide approval level, but it'll move a bunch of our systems up to content from unhappy. Right? And we have a lot of stuff that's kind of like near the line. And we have some systems that are mutinous that could be higher. Man. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That doesn't help with our dust problem, but it does do a couple of other things. It increases our influence income, which is useful. We do have some other laws we would like to be able to run, in theory, someday. And it also increases our ability to make deals with other players. So, like, right now, these guys don't necessarily hate us.
And struggle to
Really don't have a lot of dust, though.
We want you, creature.
You have the kind of dust I need. Here's the thing. I need, like, 20,000 of it. In exchange. Oh, the things I'm willing to give you. Can't trade technologies with him because I don't have the diplomatic tech that allows us to do that. How about... Boy, the problem with the price crash is that almost everything we have is going to be... You know, I guess I don't actually know if he compares the prices of things that you're asking him for to the market prices. Maybe he's willing to, like, really overpay us for something. Yeah, but he's not. This is just not going to work. He has a lot of money, but without being able to trade technology to him, we don't have anything he's going to value enough. Alright, you... And I really wish when you zoomed out of a system menu that it would keep you on that system. Wait, did the thing I just pop out of the, Here we go. It didn't go into the queue of fleets that need orders. That is, dumb and wrong. Obviously, it is a fleet that needs orders. Alright, we just gotta reinforce here a little bit, that's all. Again, it feels more secure already. Alright, I do need Oentho to probably keep producing military ships. I would love to have even more siege and taxi ships run around. Still don't have the manpower to support another party van, and we're not going to as long as I keep building other ships. But I also don't know that we want to stop building other ships. It's probably not faster to stop building ships to fully fill one of these things. That said, you know, even without the manpower modules totally full, the extra manpower deployment limit that those modules give probably makes it faster to siege systems, like especially if we can put it alongside some other larges that do have full manpower. Yeah, we'll make one more of those. What are we doing over here? A little while left to go. Yeah, we'll hit Eridanus as quickly as we can, and then we can pull the Argosy off of M29 and send it over this way. This Feyring, I don't really know what to do with this. Just get home. And we really, really do need the ability to retrofit this thing. We've been in a desperate situation for a while here, Dustwise. I mean, we have the very, very inefficient 3D printing. We could put a bunch of systems on that. Oof, look at how little industry we have here. Like 50 per turn. Okay, well this could still build pulvis production. We definitely do that before we stop. Also, a bunch of terrible tiny ships are assaulting us here. Fortunately, Vorta has a solution to that. Yeah, these things are not exactly terrifying. Notice he is capped at 7 command points. There are some important military technologies that our friend the Hisho has not managed to unravel for himself. Okay, we found it. Boy, it is deep in that arm. Alright, a jump from, like, Columba to Sirma might be the best move for the Argosy. And Sable was successfully hacked. Sable here, so... Oh, hold on, not that one, this one. We just embed a sleeper, right? Just work on slowly stealing their stuff. If we get enough sleepers in the enemy empires, we will be stealing some of their dust, which could very well solve our problem. Let's run another hack out here. We're going to go from Tsing to make sure that we have enough proxies in the way here. Sure that we don't get tracebacked. And we could stop their hacking of us by pursuing more science technologies to give more bandwidth and running more defensive programs. But I'm honestly not even sure how much we care. Like, how much we're being negatively affected by them installing sleepers in our empire. I don't think it matters. Alright, so let's sell off all of the Hyperium. I don't think we're using it at all. That'll keep us solvent. 779 for 194 of this stuff. Man. Yeah, we shouldn't sell anything else off at these prices. We can build ships for the purpose of selling them. That is an option we have. Since we have access to that part of the market. I'm going to say it's not my first choice. We're getting pretty close to an election here. There is a militarist party policy that gives you science and dust from victories. We might want to do some of that, actually. Okay, new event. Hear my last cry. Well, we could take a random technology. At this point, it's likely to be a pretty soft one. Like, we're not that likely to get things we actually want. We have a lot of techs available. We could gain plus 10% dust, which would certainly help. We could also gain plus 10 approval, which is probably not going to be enough to put us to happy. So let's go this way. What looked like a huge asteroid approaching one of your system's stars turned out to be a fragment of an ancient planet that burst ages ago. What makes it different are the remains of strange alien structures on it. What will you do before the planetary fragment flames into the sun? While it is safe, make tours to visit and learn more about who lived there, and in the meantime, make some dust out of it.
Through your actions, this universe...
Sure. Science agreement, that's fine. In 20 turns, ensure that population from the minor factions increases a lot. This is similar to what I was talking about earlier with the battle remnants. The late game quests like this, because this quest can only occur around this time in the game. At this point in the game, these rewards are meaningless. Right? The problem is that a lot of the stuff in the game does not scale very well. I don't think we care about the photobomber this game. I know we did this stuff last game, and the weapon you get for completing this is... It has some cool applications, but a 16 DPS beam weapon is just not valuable to us. And also, I wouldn't want to make a weapon out of antimatter anyway. So we are going to ignore the photobomber. Alright, even more science. We are hitting new population collection bonuses. Oh, we must have hit 50 vaulters. We sure did. So now we have +1 science per manpower on systems. We certainly have a lot of science to work with. Alright, here we get to blow these guys up pretty easily, I think. Yeah, I would not expect this to be difficult. This is an older design, because we didn't, we built this, we started this build before the refit. So yeah, I think this is a pretty sensible strategy. And we don't need to watch this. We know approximately what's going to happen here. Okay, next level up. We get to start taking skills that actually matter again. So we didn't even lose the knife that we put center. That was a pretty good outcome. Nice to see our fleet hero leveling up. It used to be the case that it was super hard to level heroes up through battle. They just didn't get enough XP. Like, if you wanted a good fleet hero, the best way to do it was to make them a governor first. And get all your important fleet skills, and then put them in charge of some ships. Like, I'm right in thinking that this is going to be a total blowout, that they have no chance of killing us, right? I hope so. I'd hate to build this ship and send it over there and get embarrassed. And there's a lot of them. What if we built an accompanying ship? It would be quite a while. They're not sieging us very quickly, right? No, they don't have the appropriate modules. I mean, we could send something home from one of our other systems. You'd send home the party van. Really, what I should be doing is moving the party van to a place where it's going to be more relevant. I should be moving it to, like... Actually, it could really help us out here. It has low enough movement that I wouldn't want to move it. I wouldn't want to try to get it to Cravertown, because by the time it gets over here, we're going to be able to just siege them. Although, it would have been useful to move it along with the fleet in the first place. Okay, 1,200 extra dust. That's very helpful. So they're at 815. I definitely want to wait a couple more turns. Okay, so do we want to send something home? We could send home, like, just this thing real fast. Although it doesn't have an action point. Finish getting the builds on here. If we lost the ship while running off these Hisho, it wouldn't be the end of the world, I suppose. I do think I'm going to start building another one of the better upgraded ones. This is expensive enough that I don't want to do it. Although, hold on, what weapons are they using? So they're mostly on missiles. Some of them are on bullets. Actually, as much as I want to save weapon or dust up for the Behemoth redesign, I think we might have... we're definitely going to do less damage in this battle if I don't do a retrofit here. Yeah, sure. Alright, let's knock these guys out real fast. Now that I'm on bullet weapons, should have an easier time with it. So yeah, just play close and blow them all up. I'll watch this if they stand and fight. My guess is they will flee. This is a big ship. I have seen big ships get torn apart by a large enough number of smaller ships, and apparently that's what they think is going to happen here. Interesting that they chose to go to close range, considering some of their ships are using missiles. Yep, okay. Well, the flotilla that we were actually close with was burned immediately. Now notice we're not doing nearly as much damage here. This is because, like I said, I believe that cross flotilla fire is never considered to be at short range. That said, we do so much damage that we will kill things when we hit them. The percentage values that you see on a ship, like with the bullet weapons being 85% up close and 15% far away, those are hit chances, not damage modifiers. So damage can be a little bit streaky, as you see here, we're hitting those miss chances a lot. But each time we connect, we will probably instantly kill the thing we hit. Boy, we are definitely being treated as though we are at long range for this entire process. Okay, we are not getting instant kills. It's doing good damage, but not instant kill damage. So I think we were treated as though we were at mid-range for the last half of that. Well, I mean, they're very screwed here. Now that they only have 2 command points worth of ship, they only have 1 flotilla in the next battle, which means they will have to go face to face, and obviously they will be destroyed. They should leave. I don't think they will. Oh, you know what? Yellow might actually be able to get control of Micro before we solve our dust problem here. Okay, my resources are being valued at a slightly more reasonable rate now. And I need a ton of dust. How's that trade company coming along? Not as well as I might like. Yeah, our trade companies are not producing a huge amount of dust. The fact that we're being blockaded is part of the problem, but these are blockades that are running to the Lumeris trading companies. The reason I keep dismissing those messages without really looking at them is that the problem isn't a thing we can easily solve. The problem is this. We need all of these systems not to be our enemy in order for the trade routes to unblock, which obviously is a tall order. Something we're working on, but not something we're going to get done in the video. Or honestly, maybe even before the end of the game, it might just not be worth it. Alright, we are rapidly sieging the Craver homeworld. We now know the locations of everybody's homeworld, right? I think that was the big value that we got out of this episode. We're going to be working soon on the tech necessary to... Tech necessary to actually see the Umbral Choir's homeworld. And then it's just a matter of flying around. It was mostly a matter of flying around at the beginning of the episode. It is entirely a matter of flying around now. We're going to let this siege a couple more turns. And we're just going to keep fighting dumb Craver vessels over here. It's kind of weird that they haven't moved anything to Tikal. Like, they don't actually care about my fleet attacking them. They just really, really want Guyana. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Listen, I'm not going to criticize my enemies too harshly for their stupidity. I'm just going to sit here and enjoy it as best I can. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I know we're not getting a lot of turns per episode here, but this is what happens in the late game when you have a lot of systems and a lot of ships. Come back next time for the conquering of Craver Prime, the beginning of the real effort against the Hisho, and at the end of that, I bet we are like 7 of 10 homeworlds. And we'll see you then.